Blog Talk Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to a conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. Today we have adopted a new format where we're going to go straight into the Kundalini teachings and do the announcements in the middle of the show. So right now I have set up this program today. Typically Santara sets it up, but I decided to give it a go last night, and I hope I've done it correctly. I think that it seems like everything is right, but nobody is in the chat room, and it's a little makes me wonder, what's going on with that. I should let you know that we are joined today by a Shakti dog named Minz, and so that shaking that you just heard right there is her, and I'd like to welcome her to our little in-home studio here. So let us begin. Divinity has given us the ability and the responsibility to be the divine reflection of itself upon this world. That grace is within each human being and some cetacean species as well. But on this world, it is the human being at this time that is being given the ability to go into the greater reality and bring a level of inner and outer balance upon themselves, but also upon this world and upon the cosmos that surrounds this world. We are given the ability to literally have an effect upon the sun, the stars, the moon, and the planets in the solar system. Kundalini, being of a divine nature, has a divine reach, and that divine reach goes way outside of what our limited, ego-oriented, conscious constructs can understand. And in many ways, you'll just want to trust what the Kundalini in you is telling you, what the Kundalini in you is showing you. In many ways, this responsibility is going to be accessed by all of us eventually as our lifetimes progress, as we refine, as we're being forced to work through our mundane activities, our mundane expressions, our mundane connections to physicality, without respect to the divine qualities that we have. Those lifetimes will refine us towards that divine understanding within us. And you can fail, and you can fail, and you can fail lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, but you will keep what you're successful with, i.e., you will keep matters of the heart. If you have indeed been able to practice a loving and grace-based heart in this lifetime, the very next lifetime that you will have that loving, grace-based heart expression in the next lifetime. And so you get to keep what it's a hunting term, really. You keep what you kill. But in this case, you keep what you kill, and what you kill is an aspect of an ego reference point and activity that no longer serves you. But you're not killing the ego. I want to make that very clear. You're not killing the ego, but you may be tempering that ego. You may be taking out of your system the control that the ego has. And as you take the control of the ego out of your system, you also take levels of control of the entities that may be around you out of your system as well, which gives a level of explanation to some of the Kundalini awakened people that don't have the entity experience. Okay, they don't have it because they've already done that work. For the 60% or so of us that do have the Kundalini awakened experience, and we do have the entities. Well, that work has yet to be done, and that work can be done in this lifetime. And so I want you to understand that you get to keep what you work on successfully. Let's put it that way. As a reflection of divinity on this world, it is being pushed upon you, certainly within a Kundalini refinement understanding, that you are to actually be that divine reflection. And that divine reflection, as we are often taught by the Kunalini, consists of very specific actions and reactions to the velocities of activity upon this world. Velocity meaning if somebody attacks you, then do you raise your fist and attack them back? Or do you forgive them? Okay. If you're thinking an ill thought about yourself, do you correct that ill thought, or do you let that ill thought take root within your system and allow it to grow? Do you nourish it with more self-destructive thoughts, or do you make that correction? I'm going to suggest that you make the correction. And as you make those corrections, you take certain levels of training, certain levels of work out of your next life, out of the next Kundalini life that you will have. Just remember, you do have a series of Kundalini lives to be lived. One does not learn how to be a reflection of divine grace upon a physical world in just one lifetime, just as one does not refine themselves from a mundane life existence spanning thousands of years into a divine reflection in one lifetime. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work. And this is what is being bestowed upon you as you have the Kundalini. She and the divine male are giving you instructions on how to live your life in a way that accelerates your acceptance and your refinement into the divine platform. Accelerates your grace. And in that accelerant, you get to practice many different things that allow you to understand why you're practicing them. Number one, what you're practicing, the technique that you're practicing, the aspect of the instruction that is directly affecting your life at that time. There are a lot of different variables that come into a refinement protocol for the human being. And nobody's refinement protocol is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be unique because your karma is unique. And because your karma is unique, the way the divine is going to teach you with regards to karma, but also with regards to what the Kundalini is bringing you as far as any kind of gifts or civic skills will also be unique to you. No two people are exactly alike, and no two Kundalini equations are exactly alike either. And I'd like to welcome Eileen Laurel, and I'm going to come right on in right now and welcome Rosemary and welcome Santara. Santara is with us right now, but we will continue the teaching. So as you're in your refinement process, you're going to be struggling hard in some ways. In other ways, it won't be a big deal. So, for instance, if you've already had the vegetarian protocol released from guiding you that vegetarianism is the only way to go, and you've had the Kundalini in another lifetime, and you understand that Kundalini itself is what will guide you on a dietary basis. This time, as you have Kundalini the second time in a body, well, you won't have that to really have to deal with. Vegetarianism or mixing, being an omnivore, will come natural to you. And if you look at babies are often quite naturally omnivores. They are not. They have to be trained to be vegetarian. They have to be only given a vegetarian option. I know that my little nieces, when they were babies, and I mean babies, from 0 to 3, they were insisting on meat from my sister. They were insisting on it. You couldn't get them to go vegetarian, to save their soul. They knew exactly what they wanted. They knew exactly what they wanted, what they needed, what they required. And so does the Kundalini in you know exactly what you need, regardless of what you want. She knows what is required for your transformation within the divine understandings. So as you have this refinement protocol placed upon you, realize that it's not going to be the same for everybody else. Your system is unique, and within that uniqueness, the unique qualities of teaching that you need to receive will come to you. Now, there are similarities, and the similarities will come through, and you'll be able to make comparisons, and you'll be able to, if you go on to any of the Kundalini Awakening Systems groups on Facebook or in Yahoo or Google Plus or any of the other places that we have Kundalini Awakening Systems represented, you can make your comparisons. You can go online, actually, and just, put in the word Kundalini Awakening, and you can make those comparisons right now with regards to how your system lines up with other people's. Now, I'm noticing that nobody is coming in on the chat room. Thank you. And
Haley says she can't see it.
Huh?
Haley says
they can't
see
see it.
Chat room.
That's so weird. I don't know what to do with that. But I'll apologize to everybody who typically is in the chat room with us. I have the chat room up right now. I'm not quite sure why it isn't showing itself, but it isn't. It isn't showing itself, and now I just took myself right out of the studio, it seems. There we are. Let me try it again. Launch chat here. Amelia Santara, please come online.
Chrism, I'm here.
So we haven't gone offline, right? I mean, we're continuing. I just initiated the chat room again, so there we have it. I don't know what to do about that. I mean, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you speaking name?
Oh, I see. That's so weird. Okay, looks like the chat room is open, folks. Thank you for waiting. I had it up before, but I guess I just needed to do it again. So once again, Atlanta Seeker, Fashchi, Heli Hainonen, everybody who has been trying to get on the flash chat, Matthew Collins, guest 1422. I want to say thank you for your patience and your persistence. Interesting that I was able to see it, but nobody else was. It's kind of a blog talk normalcy, I guess. I don't know. But thank you, Manisha, Madeva Sadvi, Mary Jean, Matthew Collins, and Cole Kunalini. I see you all. As we continue our teaching with regards to refinement, and Fashji or Madeva Sadvi, anybody, can you tell me if you were able to hear any of the program, and should I go ahead and do some repeating? If anybody could type whether or not they were able to hear the program at all, that would be much appreciated. Much of the time, oh, good. Okay, very good. Thank you. Good. It's so, I have to say, much of the time when I'm streaming the Kundalini, my eyes are closed. And so I have to consciously open them to see, if there's a question or something there that I need to respond to quickly. And I once again, I want to say thank you to everybody who was patient and waited. And I apologize to anybody who, just kind of said, well, forget this. Centaur, I'm going to put you back in the blue, my dear. Thank you for coming on. So as your refinement protocol progresses, certain elements of your karma are going to come in. And this karma is very, very, very specific. The Kundalini will choose the karma that you need to work on while you're in the activated state. It will choose the karma that you need to work on while you're in the awakened state. And it will choose the karma that you need to work in while you're in the mundane, unactivated, and unawakened state. Now, that may sound, oh, wow, they're just so totally asleep. Well, that's not true. In the mundane state, on the higher end of the mundane state, lucid dream and out-of-body experiences are part of the refinement protocols for people that are merging into the activated state, just as the aspects of the activated state are those that are designed for merging into the awakened state. So it's all connected, and these three areas are not to be devalued at all. They are to be equally appreciated and absorbed into your understandings. They all matter. It all counts. It all counts. So as your karmas begin to coalesce around the refinement pattern that your Kundalini has selected for you, you'll be given certain challenges, and these challenges will not always be easy. These challenges can really beat you up, and they'll continuously beat you up, and you just need to begin to reassess how you're working through your life, reassess what you're doing with your life and why you're doing what you're doing with your life. You know, when I was in the activated state, you know, I was working a corporate job. I wasn't really attracted to the corporate job, but I could see that was the corporate job was a step up in pay from the hourly job, and so I just decided, well, hey, I could use more money, so I'm just going to step up into this corporate job, and then I was being given offers to go further up the corporate line, and to be relocated elsewhere, and to be given other jobs elsewhere, and to really work the corporate policies, and the whole company corporate theme and ideology and auditing and all of the stuff that is put together with working for a corporation, a big multinational corporation like MCA, which was the company that I was working for. But the Kundalini in me had other ideas. At that time, I was... Our Shakti dog is getting a drink. You'll hear that. At that time, the Kundalini in me was giving me out-of-body experiences, giving me lucid dreams, taking me and showing me different places and different things. And as I was living in a very special place, Yosemite National Park, I was taken into the mystical areas of the Yosemite National Park. I could totally give all of you a tour of Yosemite National Park that involves the sacred and involves the mysterious, and that involves the areas where actual interaction with spiritual consciousness can and does occur. And the Native Americans of the area knew this very well. The current Caucasian people that are there, that are running the park right now, really don't have much of a clue about that. But hopefully someday, some way, they will. So, it's really, really, this goes back to why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you working the way you're working? Well, I know for a fact, and I want to say a happy birthday to Elliot Brodzinski, if he's here. He's not here, but he's a really good guy, and he's got the Kunalini, and he's doing hands-on work for people. He's a massage therapist. Santara Kundalini is a massage therapist. They're hands-on people, hands from the living flesh to the living flesh. And you'll also find a lot of social workers are having Kundalini. You'll find people that have a large, beautiful, caring heart. People that have a big energetic signal from within them. People that have the ability to really care about small animals, care about people and how people are being treated, care about this world and how this world is being governed or misgoverned. These are the people that will have the Kundalini. These are the people that will be given those challenges. And as that caring heart encounters those challenges, certain levels of resistance are going to occur. It really matters why you do what you're doing. Another person that I've been doing a lot of work with, worked in the spa industry and worked very, very hard, was doing a magnificent job working for some of the finest hotels in the world. People that are going to come to these hotels will spend $600 dollars on a haircut. This person's working very, very, very well within that system, and yet is moved away from that work by the Kundalini. And so it is such an amazing life-transforming process that it can pull people away from the almighty dollar. It can pull people away from ego-embossed job opportunities, such as being an actor or a somebody that garners a lot of attention. It can pull people right away from that and pull them straight into the arms of their own divinity. And their arms of their own divinity is often going to say, okay, Chrism, you're going to live your life differently now. Your life no longer revolves around working in the corporate world, going from a manager of this to a manager of that and collecting better pay every time you get a raise. I'm going to give you a raise of a very, very different nature. And I'm going to raise you up, not necessarily your wallet. And Chrism at the time is saying, well, forget that. If you're not going to raise my wallet, I don't want any part of you. Go away. And I did say that. I said that over and over and over. And it was basically like a fish gasping for air as it's jumped out of the water. It doesn't make any difference. The Kunalini says, hey, this is how you're going to live your life now. Get used to it. Get used to it. And then begin to embrace it. And then begin to love it. The refinement protocols are very, very, very strong. Very, very, very difficult. It is not a walk in the park, my friends. Those of you who have gone through strong levels of refinement, I think Matthew Collins has gone through a lot of refinement. There are others there that have gone through a lot of refinement on their way to being where they are right now. It is not an easy path, and it doesn't get easier. What does get easier is your acceptance of the refinement protocols, the unique refinement protocols that you're given. Okay, surrendering to that divine protocol. Surrendering to it. And in that surrender, following those instructions. If you've been a vegetarian all your life, you've been raised in India, you're a Brahmin in India, and you're practicing spirituality. You take Shakti, Shiva, Saraswati, Krishna, you take it all very, very seriously, Hanuman. And yet, all of a sudden, the Kundalini is giving you a severe desire for meat. Oh, my God. What an amazing shift in not only in your physical intake, but your psychological ideologies. Now, are you going to do what Chris did early in his activation? Say, forget that, I don't want that, get that away from me? Are you going to start labeling it as dead carcass food? You can call it anything you want, but you're still going to eat it. You may as well take that food judgment right out of your thought patterns, because it's not going to matter. You're going to eat meat. Now, I had an experience just this last weekend. I was best man at a wedding of my dear friend Charles, and his brother is this very, very fancy French chef for a French restaurant here in Santa Rosa called Lagar's, and they dumped copious amounts of money into the food for the wedding party, and I was standing in line, and of course I was taking my usual very, very much vegetarian, some pasta, things of this nature. It was organic. I was so grateful. And moving right on down the line, I got some cheese, and there's Dan, his brother, and he's going, here, Chris, you got to try this, and he cuts out this big old honking slab of some sort of a steak, and I was going, wait, and boom, it's on my plate, and he's serving the next person, and I'm going, oh, jeez, here we go. So being the best man, you're sitting at this table where everybody's looking at you because the groom is sitting right next to you. And I have this big slab of meat, and as many of you know, I'm not. I don't eat a lot of red meat. I'm not against it. I'll have shrimp, I'll have fish, I'll have chicken, turkey, but not a real big red meat fan, right? But there it is. There's this, and it was rare of all things. Ew. So I just said, okay, Shakti, let's see how this goes. And I was waiting for some sort of a response from the Kunalini, and I took a bite of this meat, and God, it was good. I was stunned. Oh my God! I was going, wow, that's really good. and I leaned on over to Charles. I said, wow, that meat's really good. And he says, yeah, that's the best of the best. And I said, wow. And I ate most of it, not the red interior, but I went around the sides of it, and oh my gosh, it was so very, very good. And I just want to tell you that the Kundalini will control all of these things. Here I was, Mr. Ego, saying, oh no, I'm not going to eat the red meat. Dan slaps it down on my plate, and I'm not going to waste that food, that cow's gift to me and the other people. And so it was really, 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 really good. And it, I don't care that other people will call it dead carcass food or whatever. You can call it any type of a terrible thing you want, but it doesn't matter. It was good. It was nourishing. It was helpful, and it was grounding. When you're eating the flesh, you're eating compact proteins. These compact proteins have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of sunlight and prana in them. These proteins, these individual proteins do, and so it is a form of vegetarianism in a strange way. You are getting the benefit of those grasses and the many different levels of prana that animal was ingesting. So it was a very good experience for me, and I did remind myself that it's the Kunalini that calls these shots, not me. And my job is to do as best I can do in surrendering to that Kunalini agenda. And so for the first time in years, I had red meat, and I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I encourage anybody else that has that type of a scenario come upon them, whether you're at a wedding or on a date or just at home, enjoying dinner with the family, and the wife all of a sudden plops down, this red meat in front of you. Be grateful. Thank that animal for the sacrifice for you that it has given itself, and thank God for the creation of you and the animal and this earth, and allowing us to become a reflection of divine grace upon a physical planet. A reflection of divine grace upon this physical world. This is what I'm talking about today, is becoming that reflection. No longer does the ego get to have its say anymore. You must constantly self-correct. You cannot stay the same way. One of the most common and repetitive qualities of this world is change. We are always changing. The cells of our body are always dying, and there are new cells always being born. Okay? We live within a world of change. The environment changes. It just changes in a way that is maybe too slow for us to acknowledge, or too fast for us to acknowledge. But change is the most consistent feature of our lives. Our bodies grow. Our bodies age. This constitutes change. Well, I want you to accept the change of your life, the change of your body, the change of your living situation, change of your job, like I had to change and like the other person had to change. Change of your life that allows you to embrace Kundalini and the different things that it may want to bring with you, to you, for you, by you, in you, on you, around you. Do not let the ego advance anymore. Now look, the ego has served its purpose, pre-activation. It has brought you, literally, helped you survive, helped you find that way to support yourself, support your family, support your life. It has served its purpose, and it's doing well, and I mean, hopefully well. It has served its purpose, but now it must relinquish its control over you and how you live your life and how you think about living your life. You must change your thoughts. And I've given instruction, to people to recognize the divine frequencies that are in front of you. Recognize the grace that is all around you. Recognize the ego that is within you. And anytime that ego is combative about the practices you're doing for Kundalini, dismissive about the practices you're doing for Kunalini, looking for trouble to place upon your practice of what you're doing with the Kundalini, or with your teacher, or with taking yourself out of a job or a position that gives you a high level of ego enthusiasm, becoming going, say, from the corporate manager that I was to a janitor, sanitation janitor. Take yourself, as long as you feel the compulsion from the Kundalini, allow yourself to be manipulated by the divine within you. Allow yourself to have all of the supports taken out from your life. No people, no home, no car, no food. I mean, allow the Kundalini to begin to raise you, support you, nourish you, give to you. Step out of the way and push your ego out of the way in that stepping. The only reason you're having your supports taken away from you is for that refinement to occur. If you have the support always, then you'll be always leaning on that support. You'll be always looking for that complacency. You'll always looking for it was so much better in the past. In the past. It's the same as that aforementioned cow looking beyond that fence and going, wow, the grass is really greener over there. Wish I could be there. Okay. Little do they know, they just have to apply a little pressure to that fence and it'll collapse. Okay. I don't want you to apply a little bit of pressure to your Kundalini awakening equation to see it collapse. I want you to stand tall, stand strong, stand firm, and totally give yourself into this equation. Don't let yourself be fooled by the ego. I posted something on Facebook just a little while before the show, and on the one side, and this is on a group called Kunalini Awakening ! On the one side, you see this person having this amazing Kundalini flow coming out of their fontanelle, and the energy, coalescing around them in soft waves of pastel colors and beauty, and a rose in the lower left-hand corner, and very, 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 very beautiful. And then in a picture right next to it, I'm showing a saint that is being tested. Her faith is being tested, and she's being bothered by entities. She's being attacked by entities that have these scary-looking teeth and these long talons, and they're cutting into her, they're touching her in some way, or doing their very best to frighten her and to scare her. And you look at the picture and you realize, wow, these entities have these tremendous fangs and these tremendous teeth. Look at those teeth! My gosh, they look like, they're right out of a horror movie. And yet, when you look at it, They don't have teeth that can cut flesh. They don't have fangs that can do anything to you. At the best, they can give you a headache. That's about it. Okay, their talons don't do anything on you. They don't even affect physicality at all. They're hanging around you because, one, it's their job. Their job is to be that lower entity that causes you strife, that causes you pain, that causes you fear, that will try to control you through that fear, because that, too, is part of your refinement process. And the answer to that refinement process is, how do you find a way not to be afraid? And we're not talking about something that others can see as like, oh, God, you don't want to step in front of that grizzly and, look that grizzly in the eye. You want to be very respectful to that creature. This is not stuff that anybody else can really see except a psychic or another Kunalini person. And yet to you, it will seem like that grizzly parked in your path, looking menacingly at you and starting its charge. And the first inclination you're going to have is to run, which is the wrong thing to do, even if it's a real-life grizzly. You don't run from them. You stand your ground and do your best. Hang on tight. Well, that's what you do with these entities as well. Another thing that I've been telling a person who's working with me is to put your head under cold water. Get your head under cold water, and that will temporarily assuage an entity headache or an entity attack upon you. I don't know if I mentioned in other shows that I like to take students to Lake Tahoe because the water is so clean and so cold. It has that special quality. Lake Tahoe is a great place to do entity work, to learn how to modulate an entity attack upon a person. And that's only for those of you that have entities as part of the refinement process for you. Okay. Now let's see. I'm going to come on over to Santara. Oh, I'd like to welcome Rosemary. Hello, Rosemary, and Eileen. Let's see. Matthew Collins says the ocean story with the garden hose came to mind when you mentioned water. Well, there you go. There you go. You could use any kind of water. Typically, cold water is the best. So yeah, Matt, I know that you've had some definitive experiences with that, and I think there are still more for you to go with regards to that. We'll see how things materialize for you in that way. And I'd like to welcome everybody from Minnesota, the beautiful Kundalini community in Minnesota, of which Rosemary is the leader there. I'd like to welcome Eileen. Hello, Eileen. And I'm going to bring Santara into the program. Hello, my dear Santara. How the heck are you? Oh,
I'm very well.
Caught you at a bad time. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes. Are you in your new apartment?
Yes, I am. Indeed, I am. Yes.
Wow, well, congratulations. And I want to say congratulations for all the new appliances that will be coming your way. Congratulations for that, too.
Thank you, Chrism. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead and make your announcement, my dear. Go ahead. What?
No, it's fine. I'll make the announcement.
Okay. Oh, we got that echo going, so I'm just going to shut up.
Okay. Is there an echo there with me?
Go ahead, my dear.
Okay. So here is the place that you can go to if you would like to make a donation to support the work that Chrism does. It's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com, and you will see the donate button. It's on the right-hand side over the banner that says Ascension Kundalini. Just press that and the donation will be given, and we are very grateful for all donations that are received. If you would like to donate in a different way, drop me a line to kundalinimatters@gmail.com, and I can give you information about how to do that through Western Union or the bank. But I'll give you this one because it's the easiest and it's the simplest one. It's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. And that's the announcement, Chrism. I would like to make an announcement as well, though, about the conference that's going on in London. Can I do that now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so for those of you who are living in Europe, particularly, there's a conference happening in London that Chrism has been invited to speak at, and there are a lot of speakers coming to this conference. So if you look at the website www.tcche.org, you can read all about it there. It's happening on the 28th and the 29th and the 30th of August, and Chrism is speaking on the 29th of August. And on the following weekend, the 5th of September, Chrism is also giving a one-day workshop, which people are invited to attend. So again, it's www.tcche.org, and it's a wonderful opportunity to meet with Chrism. He doesn't come to Europe that often. It will be probably a while before he gets here again. So if you have, if there's any way that you can get to London for that weekend or the following weekend, then it would be really worth making the effort. And there will be people from Facebook, and the CAS program will be there. So it would be a lovely opportunity as well to meet other Kundalini people. So that's it, Chrism. Those are my two announcements. And I can't see the chat room either. So just want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. I know you're all there, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Thanks, Chrism.
Thank you, my dear. Putting you in the blue, coming on over to Rosemary, Her Holiness Rosemary. And Rosemary, do you have some announcements you'd like to make?
Yes, I do. Likewise, you will be traveling, but it won't be till November, and it will be here to Minnesota for the Kundalini Awakening Seminar that will have November 14th and 15th in St. Paul side of the river in Egan, and the Best Western Hotel where we have been the last two seminars. Those dates again, the 14th and the 15th of November, and the week before too, you'll be here for talks, and there's an expo the 7th and 8th that you will be speaking at. And my information to contact me, I have people contacting me about registration already. It's just delightful. 651-452-3161 or 651-326. I forget the other one. 651-329-9615. Thank you. My cell phone.
That would be 651-329-9615.
And the email address is rosemaryg@usinternet.com. And I welcome any questions, any communication at all, especially if you're planning to come. It just is grateful to know that. It's a great event to know that early.
And I understand that you're doing some movie showings of the Kundalini movie, Rosemary.
Yes.
Is that coming up?
Yes. A number of them. I'm still working on that. Have about half a dozen in place, and Eileen is preparing the flyers for those. So that's happening. Had a good visit with somebody about that today, about what it provides, and quite interesting what people think it is, first of all, and then also what other parts of their life can be readily effective by that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, my dear, for your announcements and for your hard work that you're doing there. Okay, and I'd like to make some announcements here. We are available on the Facebook networks with about we have a super secret, very, very private group that if you friend Chris Mitchell, I think that's the name on the Facebook page, also known as Chrism.Kunalini. If you friend me there, I can put you on the very private group so that none of your friends will see what you post. I understand that it's very important for people to have that option because not everybody works in a professional environment that's supportive of having Kundalini awakened phenomena. Not everybody is going to be very, very, very supportive of somebody who is having what is not supported in our technological society at this time. So we have the super secret group. We also have a public group called Kundalini Awakening ! We also have a public group, Kundalini Awakening Systems 2 on Facebook, and we have Kundalini Awakening Systems 3 on Facebook, and we have Kundalini Radiance Community, which is a group that was put together so that we could find a place where more than, where families that have Kundalini Awakening could be with other people that are having Kundalini, where we don't have to be so amazingly alone in the world. We can have friendships and community with people that are in an active state of Kundalini awakening, and so we have that group that supports that. I'm also the KAS systems and Chrism Kundalini is represented on YouTube, and all you have to do is drop the word chrism.kundalini into the YouTube search box, and that'll bring you up to about a little over 300 videos that are dedicated to the Kundalini, and you'll see myself represented there. You'll see Eileen Laurel, Amelia Santara. You'll see Magdalene de Deus is on some of these. Bradley Kundalini's on some of these. Brooke Robertson is on some of these, and so these, it's not all about Chrism Kundalini. It's all about the Kundalini, though. Sarkis Bar Vivian is on it as well, and he's a healer from the Southern California areas. So there are a lot of people there that are talking specifically about Kundalini on video, and sometimes that's an easier way for people to learn about that. We're also I don't want to leave out Julia Rayner is also represented in the videos on that channel. So do go to that YouTube channel and learn from these people. These people have the real deal. I'm not going to put anybody on that channel that does not have the real deal and is expressing the real deal. And so really go on there and look at these people. Oh, we also have Matthew Collins, who is here right now. His mother is represented on that, and she's talking about what it's like to have a Kundalini awakened child. What that entails, what goes through a parent's mind when they're seeing their kid go through the phenomena associated with Kundalini. And so Mrs. Collins is represented there as well. And I'd like to thank you, Matthew Collins, right now personally, for allowing that to occur, for meeting me in Florida and doing that filming. Very, very important work. And I'd like to thank Eileen Laurel. She was a videographer for a lot of those first videos that we put out as well. So there you have that announcement. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and continue with the streaming. And so just so you know, my friends, I'm going to be closing my eyes a little bit here. And so I won't see you that way right now. So here we go. Back into the refinement protocols for the individual person who is here. The whole reason that you're here is to have Kundalini. The whole reason that you're here is to be a divine reflection of the God and the Goddess upon this planet. The whole reason you are here is to have that ascension platform, that others around you may feast upon the radiance that you exude from your bodies, that you exude from the right thinking that you have. And I it's not a right or a left thinking. It's a thinking along the lines of what the Kundalini is giving you to practice as far as a protocol-based format. She wants you to self-correct away from greed. She wants you to self-correct away from corruption. She wants you to self-correct away from fear. She wants you to self-correct away from self-aggrandizement. And these are all areas where the ego is strongly pushing against you. It wants to have those qualities, and the Kundalini doesn't want you to have those qualities. And so there you are, in the middle, being pulled one way, being pulled the other way, being pulled one way, being pulled the other way. Which way do you choose to commit to? And are you strong enough? Are you strong enough to have that mindset that you commit to throughout the day? For me in my activation sequence, i.e. my refining process, I'm changing position here. I was really forced to look at certain levels of corruptive thinking that I was engaging in order to go the other way. I had to suffer homelessness for years. And I'm not suggesting that you have to do this, but I had to do that. Some of you, some of you will have to go back and live with your mom or your dad just to be in a stable environment. Just so you can have the early expression of Kundalini upon the body. Just so you can have that tremendous strength, that tremendous visionary experiences, just seeing the energy for the first time and feeling that energy for the first time, feeling what it is to be almost superhuman in a way, and yet being surrounded by people that would devalue you for that quality if you made them aware of it. Okay? Some of you may have to move back home in order to have this work, if there is a home for you to move back to. Some of you will have to change your job. Some of you will have to change the way you think about what is important in life. Some of you will have monetary issues. Like me, I didn't have any monetary issues, because monetary issues, you got to have money to have monetary issues. I didn't have that. Some of you do. And some of you are wondering, well, if the Kunalini doesn't let me work, well, WTF do I do now? You'll change your thinking, and you'll begin to trust the Kunalini with your finances. Trust the Kunalini with your job. Trust the Kunalini with where you live and how you live, who you live with, or who you don't live with. For some of you, that means a divorce. And for some others of you, that means a divorce from your location that you've been comfortable with. Let's say you live in Florida and you're asked to move to Minnesota. Hello, Eileen. Eileen Laurel had to do that. She had to go through the temperature changes of what it is to be in balmy hot Florida, and to go back to Minnesota, where it can go to 20 degrees below zero. And I know it can do that, although I'm not buying into their whole snowy thing. I've never seen that. I think that's just a myth about Minnesota and all the snow they seem to get, but they never seem to get it when I'm there. Anyway, you'll be asked to make radical change in your life. No, I'll take it back. I will take that back. You will not be asked. In many cases, you'll be forced. You'll be asked first, and then if you say no, forget that, then you'll be forced. Okay? I think I've spoken on this program before about Kundalini fragmentations, and I'm not going to go into that so much today, but I am really, really being focused on the refinement issues, what it is to change the way you think. How do you do that? How do you change away from self-aggrandizement? Maybe you just stop talking about yourself so much. Maybe that's the first move. Maybe you're not always in the limelight. Maybe that's no longer your position in life, is to be in the limelight, to be the star of the show. Maybe you just got to shake it off like Min's just did. You just shake off the ego is what she's teaching us. Let's look at the animals as teachers rather than a food source. Let's look at the animals that have supreme levels of selfless love that they give to us as a way of teaching us to give selfless love to those around us and to those plants and animals and amoebas around us. I'm looking at her right now, and she's sitting on the couch there, and she's listening to us. She's listening to these teachings being given, and she is a part of those teachings that are given. Look at how you treat animals, and you can really begin, and if you treat them poorly, if you don't care about them, if you don't have an appreciation for what the fellow mortals or animals do for us in our life, then there you go. There's a place to start your refinement. There's a place for you to broaden the effect of your heart and expand that love over all creatures of creation in this world. I don't care if it's a black widow or a piranha or a mini pit bull or a little calico kitty cat like Lasha. Or that cow that you're eating, or that deer that you see on the side of the road, hopefully not too close to your car. Or that badger, or that platypus, or that ostrich, or that elephant, or that lion that some dentist in Minnesota decided would look better on his office wall. Look at how you treat the animals in your life, including the ones that you consume. Look at how you treat them, and look at how your heart is within your activation and refinement process. Do you say hello to that snowy egret you see as you pass by in your car? What do you do to acknowledge the grace that this too is part of your refinement protocols? And if you don't want to start with the animals, start with your self-dialogue. Are you constantly bringing yourself down? Are you constantly seeing yourself as a victim? Are you constantly seeing yourself oppressed by the environment, oppressed by your job, oppressed by the phenomena that the Kunalini is bringing to you or not bringing to you? The Kundalini will, it will bring you gargantuous phenomena and then take them all away and say, okay, let's see what he does now. Do you go into self-remorse? What did I do to piss off Shakti? Where is your strength? When do you choose to fall back into the ego when your expectations aren't being met? What about that? What about having expectations at all? And I wanna say hello. I just opened my eyes and I see Lauren White has joined us. Hello, Lauren. I'm going to say hello to Cole and Phil and Matt and Mary and Manisha and Ma and Lauren and Johanny, Helly, guest 1423, Fausti and Atlanta Seeker. Hello, you all. When your expectations aren't being met, what are you doing? How are you thinking? And what are you feeling about how you're thinking? And how much of those thoughts are being pushed at you by entities? Well, the first thing is like, are you getting a big headache if you don't think about that? I think Julie and I did a program about entities and how they want to affect the thinking of our ego, and how saying a certain mantra can really help with that. But also soaking your head, or taking a plunge in Lake Tahoe, or taking a plunge in that beautiful ocean wherever you are, that can also help that headache. that can also clear your mind. I don't care if you're doing it in the kitchen sink or the shower, or as Matt mentioned, the garden hose. It all works fine. Just get the water on your head. Get the water on your head and around that fontanelle, and you clear that out. And you may have to do it more than once. Do it more than once. So look at your self-dialogue, your inner dialogue. What are you saying to yourself? You know, how do you talk to yourself? And how do you talk about other people to yourself? You know, that guy that cut you off on the roadway, or that friend that didn't show up, or that girl that didn't show up, or that guy that didn't show up for the date, or for the date that the business meeting, or what are you saying behind your eyes that nobody else is hearing? That's got to be changed too. Where are your levels of gratitude and forgiveness? Those must be experienced. How forgiving are you in your life? You know, Kundalini brings a great, astonishing level of power into a person. But you got to change the way you think first. You don't get to have the grace of the saints and have a mind that is based in self-loathing. No. You got to remember what it is you're loathing. You're loathing a container of divinity. Now, come on. How does that make any sense in a Kundalini context? It doesn't make any sense at all. And all of you are listening to this program because it is inside of a Kundalini context. So if you're loathing the container of the Kundalini, what are you saying about the Kundalini that chose you as a container? What are you saying? What are you thinking? What are you sub-vocalizing behind your eyes? That needs to be changed in a positive way towards yourself and towards yourself as that divine container of Kundalini, that holder of the Holy of Holies. You're the vessel of the divine, and the divine has chosen you very specifically. Didn't choose your next door neighbor. It didn't choose that guy that cut you off on the freeway. It chose you. And it chose you because it knows you can do that. It knows that you have this propensity. It didn't choose you because, guess I'll take a chance on Chrism. Divinity doesn't need to take any chances. It knows. It knows you. And it wants you to know yourself better. Are you willing to dive into that ocean of you? Are you willing to change how you talk to yourself? How you talk about others to yourself? And let's talk about the handles that the entities need in order to really give you that headache. They need that negative self-talk about yourself or other people. They need that because that provides them with a handle, because the ego is being allowed into this conversation. And when the ego is allowed into the conversation, the entities have a handle. So once again, there's these strong levels of self-correction that are required to get those ego bases smoothed out again so that the entities don't have an opportunity to bother you or to hurt you or to harm you. And I'm going to give an example. One of the students, I don't know if she told that story last week or not. Let me go over here. Hey, Rosemary.
Yes.
Did you tell the story last time about that dark entities and all that?
I did.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to reiterate it a little bit, okay?
That's fine.
Thank you, dear. So Rosemary told you last week what happened to her when she had dark entities come to her. And she changed her response to those dark entities. And she basically, what she said in no uncertain terms, that she belongs to the Kundalini. And she did mention the teacher, but the teacher belongs to the Kundalini, so she belongs to the Kundalini. Teacher is just a physical representation. You also belong to the Kundalini. You listening there in the archives. You listening right there, right now on the telephone. You listening on your computer. You listening in the chat room. You all belong to the Kundalini. So I want to really encourage you to change that self-dialogue if you're doing anything that is not positive and supportive of you as a person and you as a divine vessel of grace. What other ways can a person get in their own way with regards to the ego? Think about those personal ways for yourself. Okay. What do you expect? What do you expect the Kundalini to bring you? What do you expect the Kundalini to give you? Do you expect it to give you extreme wealth? And if it did, how would you use that wealth? What's the point of having that wealth? What does a container of the divine need with extreme wealth? What are you going to do with that? Are you going to feed the poor of the world? Is that what you're going to do? And don't you think that the poor of the world maybe have something to learn from being the poor of the world, and that if you give them release from that, then you're releasing them from that karma, you're releasing them from that teaching, you're releasing them from why they're here in the body in the first place? Are you teaching them to pull themselves up from their own bootstraps, put their own shoes on, let them tie those shoes, teach them? That's a better way, I feel, to use your resources. Tell people about the Kundalini. That's a better way to use your resources. Let people know, let people learn what is within them, the potentials they have within them that far exceed scientific expectation. Okay. We have had teachers in this world that have expounded on subjects that go far outside of the norm. Edgar Cayce was one of them. And recently I've been exposed to another gentleman by the name of Yoronda, and I believe that is spelled Uronda. Say again? Yeah, NDA. Another, and I believe you can look up some of that stuff on the web.
Yoronda is Uranda.
Uranda is the person you want to look up. And these people have very, very strong Kundalini expressions too. So it's not all about the Hindu, and it's not all about the Tibetan. It's not all about the shamanic. It's in the last century of the United States, we have had teachers come out. It's just that they get attacked a lot. They get attacked. They get called a cult. They get called this. They get called that. They get called New Agey or wishy-washy. I'm going to encourage you to let your Kundalini decide who it is you listen to and why you listen to that person. And it comes back to your expectations. What do you expect the Kundalini to get? Is it great power? I get that a lot. People come to me and they say, "Oh, Master Chrism, can you awaken my Kundalini so I can have the powers that come with the Kundalini?" And I say, no. I try to say it gently, politely, but sometimes, I have to be a little more overt with it. What do you expect from Kundalini? Seriously. Do you expect to feel a certain way? Do you expect to know about a certain thing? Yeah, i.e., are you expecting all the special skills to come with the Kundalini, even if you haven't done the required ego work first? Isn't that like, trying to ride a bicycle before you have the bicycle? The cart before the horse? You must do this ego work. You must do this level of refinement. And it doesn't matter really how it matters that your physical body is healthy. That does matter. And so I'm not going to say that the divine container does not require maintenance and does not require, a level of love and blessing that you can give it by giving it the right food, organic, non-GMO food, giving it enough plenty of clean water, feeding it things like kombucha, can be very helpful to a person, very helpful to their digestive tract. And let me tell you, if your digestive tract is healthy, guess who else is healthy? It's a big deal. Take care of those small, tiny little life forms in your gut, because they're keeping you alive, my friend. They are keeping things going, and you need to appreciate them too. Kundalini won't give you instant health unless it wants to, and unless that fits your karmic paradigm. Really take stock of what it is you're expecting Kundalini to give you, and then look at your refinement opportunities and look at where your responsibilities are within that refinement. How are you taking care of that negative self-talk? How are you expanding your heart love over the world, over all the creatures of this world, including human creatures, including plants and mitochondria and the things that cells are made of, and the world of the fungus, the fungi. Where are you expanding your love into creation, and where are you limiting that love? What are you doing to make this container that you are better? What are you doing to make the container that you are a place where the divine wants to be, where you're exuding those divine qualities? You've done all the hard work in the other lives that you've lived. You haven't come to this place accidentally. You don't get to be in a Kundalini refinement zone by accident. You're there on purpose. I don't care if you were in a skiing accident and you hit a tree. I don't care if you were in a helicopter accident and had a comminuted fracture of the spine. There's no accident when it comes to having the divine grace flow into you. It's just some karma is just harder than others. What are you doing to alleviate your fear? Fear is a big deal inside of the refinement protocols. It controls a lot of our activities and our actions. So what are you doing to resolve your level of fear? Are you in fear that you're not being noticed enough? Are you in fear that people aren't seeing you as a leader? That people aren't seeing you as somebody who can really walk the talk and call the shots? Why are you in fear of not being noticed enough? What is that saying about your self-confidence? What is that saying about your inner dialogue? What is that saying about your level of Kundalini love that can be directed towards you, the divine container? This goes to self-aggrandizement. Do you need to be noticed over and above everybody else? Is that what you need? Do you need to be seen as the great and powerful Oz hiding behind that curtain? Is that what you need? And if you need that, why do you need that? What part of you isn't being fulfilled? What part of you is afraid that you're not being acknowledged or noticed enough? What are you doing about your fear of the unknown? See, this is a hard one. You know, and this is, Kundalini is so copious with this one. She will give you the fear of the unknown every single day. I remember I was living in an RV at the time, and I was having pretty strong phenomena occurring. It's the strongest phenomena I've ever had in my life. And I would come along, you know, I'd lay down on my bed in the RV, and I would hear a on the wall, and I knew in a second or two I was going to get attacked by an entity. It's like I was given this little warning. Sorry, man. And that warning was just basically saying, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. And I would prepare myself, and there it was. You know, there was that entity coming in, zooming in, you know, trying to terrify me, trying to scare me even more than I was already scared at the time. I was still inside of my refinement process at that time. I hadn't been able to get over the fear yet. What are you doing about the fear of the unknown that's coming into your life? You know, Josephine Smith, as we know in another program that I mentioned, she had a spider the size of maybe a small car lower itself down upon her and lick her lip. I mean, if that's not something that you're not going to expect every day, I don't know what is. You know, that's coming out of the blue. But she didn't show fear. So she didn't have to have it again and again and again. Whereas I showed fear to the entities in my early process. And so I had to have it happen again and again and again. And once you get rid of the fear, well, guess what? You don't have to experience that fear again because it's gone. You're no longer afraid of it. You are no longer afraid of it. It's a very important quality to remember. So what are you doing about your fear of the unknown? How are you handling that? Where do you place your confidence? Where do you place your confidence when something out of the unknown is coming to you? You don't know what it is, but you know what's coming. I remember in that same place where I had the knock-knock entity, I was compelled to remove my clothing, and this was way out in the wilderness. I was compelled to remove my clothing and stand out there and wait. And as I did that, I could see the trees parting far up the hillside and something really tremendously large coming at me really fast. And God, you know, it scared me to pieces. You know, I wouldn't even get dressing. I'd just grab those clothes and I would head for the RV and just hope that it wouldn't follow me there. And it didn't. It didn't. But how would you handle that? How would you handle something taller than the trees? Parting the trees, the physical, real-life trees being bent at an angle so that something could go through them. How would you handle that? So what are you doing to release the fear of the unknown in your life? What is giving you the strength to do that? And I'm going to suggest you put all your faith, all your trust in Kundalini. All of your strength and all of your trust into the Kundalini. Let it become that part of you that it is. Take your ego out of the equation and let the Kundalini fully come into you as completely and as fundamentally as it can. And as you take the ego out of the equation, well, guess what? You take those entities out of the equation as well. And as you take the fear out of the equation, Well, you open the doors. The kingdom of heaven comes right into you. You're not walking through the pearly gates. The pearly gates are walking through you while you're still alive. What are you doing to handle the fear of the unknown in your life? What are you doing about your pride? Is your pride the most important thing in the world, or are you actively doing things to take care of that pride? Let's look at, you look into the Christian Bible, and you have I forget what the 7 deadly sins are, but I'll mention a few of them. I think you got pride, you've got gluttony, you've got vanity, you've got what is it when you're well, you got a few more. What are you guys doing to do that? That Bible, that KJV, it has a secret trail of Kundalini awakening protocols laced through it. Okay. You have to look at the KJV, King James Version of the Bible, as you have to look at it with Kundalini eyes in order to see it. It's like the Rig Veda in the Hindu religion or the Sanskriti religion. The Rig Veda, the scientists will look at the Rig Veda and go, oh, well, that's very good. We're slowly making progress in deciphering the true meanings of what this book was written about. It's not true at all. They're not looking at it. They can't even see it. Because it was written by Kundalini awakened people for Kundalini awakened people. And I know I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. What are you doing to take care of pride and vanity in your life? Do you have to look a certain way or you don't feel good about yourself? Can you go outside and smear mud over your face and feel good about how you are, who you are, what you are, why you are? Can you do that? I'm going to challenge all of you to do that. And I'm going to challenge you to do that and take a picture of you doing that and post it on Facebook, those of you who are on Facebook. I'm going to challenge every single one of these people, these beautiful, wonderful Kundalini people that are here in the chat room, and you know who you are, to smear your face with mud. And I mean smear it with mud. What do they call that? Some sort of they put like a mud mask. I want you to put a mud mask on. And I want you to put it on right out of the garden, right out of the front garden. Okay. And I want you to take a picture of yourself with that mud mask on. Thank you, Brooke. And I want you to take a picture of that. So I want you to post it on Facebook if you're on Facebook or wherever you are. Let the Shakti be seen on your face. Shakti is the earth. Earth is stone and soil and excrement and plant products. That's what earth is. And we have bacteria, and we have all the different mechanisms of the earth as well within that soil. Soil is the Kundalini feminine. Wear that femininity on your face. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You wear that. Yeah, I've done it. I'll repost that picture. But I challenge all of you to do it. Cole, Matt, Mary Jean, Manisha, Madheva Sadvi, Lauren White, Heli Hinonen, Vashti, Atlanta Seeker, Guest 1649. I give you that gentle challenge. Let's see if your vanity will allow you to do this. Keep it on. You only need to keep it on long enough to take a picture. You don't have to keep it on all day or go to work that way. What are you doing to take care of these types of issues that are mentioned both in the Bhagavad Gita and both in the Bible? What are you doing to allow yourself this refinement process? Oh, Lauren White writes in the Lauren White just wrote, he says, the mud challenge is on! And Helly's going, I will. Okay, all right, you folks, I'm waiting. I've got my mud picture. Hi, sweetie girl. Once again, Men's is saying just shake it off, folks. Just shake off that self-identity that means you have to look a certain way for a certain reason, for certain people, for a certain occasion. In other words, be happy with the natural person you are. Be happy with who you are. Doesn't mean you can't wear your makeup or, any of those things. It just means that you need to be happy with who you are without having to impress people with who you are. Okay? What are you doing to embrace this refinement in yourself? What are you willing to give up? What part of the ego are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up that negative self-talk? Are you willing to give up that shrunken heart, giving only love to only those you know and only maybe for yourself once in a while? Are you willing to expand the heart? Are you willing to give up your fears? Are you willing to give up those qualities that the ancients have written in their documents that we still live with? What are you doing with Kundalini? What are you allowing Kundalini to do with you? How are you resisting this process? And if you are resisting this process, what do you expect from the Kundalini? What do you expect from the Kundalini? If you're resisting this refinement protocol, what do you expect the Kundalini to do for you? And why do you have any expectation? So I'm going to go over here to Her Holiness here. And I'm going to put her on the spot. Your Holiness, hello. Santara.
Yes, dear teacher.
And what is it that you're doing within your refinement process, and how are you responding in a positive way to that refinement process?
Okay, you do like putting me on the spot. Okay, well, I'm responding through self-correction, through having the safeties as my fallback, as well as being what I'm working with constantly. So even though I'm working with them, when the ego expresses itself, and I use them to also self-correct. My expectation, I don't have an expectation of the Kundalini and what it will do for me, but that's not true. My expectation is really that the Kundalini will becomes my will, that I surrender so that what the Kundalini does or wants for me is what I will open myself to be. And that doesn't always happen. And so self-correction is the key.
Thank you for your honesty with that, Amelia. Keep going.
I think I'm finished.
Okay. What are you doing in your subvocal self-dialogue? How's that going?
Yeah, that goes through phases. That goes through phases where my self-dialogue, it can be negative. But again, I catch it because that is so not good. It's destructive.
And it's programming.
Ego.
It's programming.
Say that again?
It's programming you as well.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And I mean, you were speaking about it allows entities a handle. It does. It allows the ego a huge handle as well, because you're feeding it. You're allowing it to have, more space, to gain back control, to express itself and its will. So I find that, Yeah, but again, Chrism, the safeties, I mean, if you look at any one of them, they can be applied to that as well, you know, the tolerance, the love, or the forgiveness, even as I begin to realize what's happening in that scenario with myself, when I can apply the safeties and devotion and my mantra, that's, you know, crucial to me as well, because it's fine to talk about it, you know, and to try and make sense of it. But sometimes when it's going on, you know, when there are things going on that are just feel wrong or aren't okay, I'm not able to process it at that particular moment. And so what I will do through experience is I will say my mantra and I will go into the intention and the actual action of surrender to the Kundalini, apply my the safeties, and that by doing the devotion and by doing my mantra, then I automatically dismiss or do not allow in or I stop in its tracks, really, my ego. Without having to process it. You know what I mean? That there's no need to even do that, because I automatically then go back into that place of surrender to the Kundalini and its will, and how it's part of the whole process.
And what time of the day do you do all this?
All the time.
That's right. That's right. You don't get to have a certain time of the day. So, okay, I'm going to do all this today. It's 4:30 PST. Okay, I've got 3 minutes. No, it's all the. It's all the time. Now I'm gonna put you.
It is.
Put you into the blue just for a second here, my dear, and I'm gonna come on over to Rosemary. Hello. Your High Holiness,
Hello,
Mother Superior. How are you?
Yes, fine. I'm listening.
All right, Rosemary.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? What are you doing within this refinement protocol that you're in? What's happening with you?
Well, I'm paying attention to, I would say, feelings that I have and judgments that I have. There's a lot of going on right now in my relationships, and I posted about that before. That was that visit from the darkness was after a phone call with some very important people in my life. So what I've been looking for, now my mind is going blank. This isn't any fun like that. Or something just the other day. That this is, I don't mind talking about this. I hope this is helpful. But I got, like the one, this is about a relative that I've known all her life and my life, and I just decided she doesn't like me. And it goes way back to things of childhood, and I can't do anything about her letting go of that. But this was actually, I made it a search. And I said, well, who else? There's so-and-so that's a friend, and I know some ways that things that have happened. She doesn't like me either. And then I remembered a teacher that I had in high school, and I said, oh, yeah, she used to holler at me all the time. And other students would be upset with her because of what she was doing. And then I remembered, when I started doing Pilates, the dear woman would correct me, and then we'd leave, and people would say they'd feel bad. A couple of them didn't come back because they thought she was mean. So I went through all these things. It was really a great exercise, and like while I'm doing whatever else I'm doing, and to realize that there are things about me that don't work for other people, and to be grateful for that. And it kind of lightened up the energy a bit, about all of this. And also what I saw just in the last day was let me just see how I can say that too, was Well, I think I'll have to wait for that to come back. It was really helpful. Like there's not an ending point to this, and it's all these things just go on. The blessing when something comes up that it seems unusual and unfamiliar.
Well, good, my dear, good.
And it's also hard because you can get so hooked into all this and get upset about it. Oh, I know what it was around forgiveness with again a person that I've been working on that, and then I saw another level of forgiveness is really being peaceful myself, being peaceful and joyful around them, and allowing them not just to forgive that particular trait, but to be allowing them their life with the fullness it can be, even with that trait, and nothing has to change about them. That to be in my heart joyful and be able to be with them, and that was new for me. I'm very grateful about that.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you for sharing that. And now I'm going to bring it on over here to Brooke. And Brooke, what's been happening with you and your refinement opportunities here?
Well, I've had several, of course, as we all have, but I think what's coming to mind right now is, well, where do I start? The self-talk, I guess you were talking about, the dialogue. But, I notice that when I become aware of my self-talk and it's negative, like Santara was saying, there are hooks in for the entities. So that's been something I've been working on, I think, lately. Just realizing that I can go into forgiveness and gratefulness or thankfulness on the spot there has been helpful too. So, and also the mantra. But I think Santara said all this, so I'm kind of feel like I'm repeating exactly what she said.
Not bad.
Sorry. Yeah, there's a host of other things, but I don't know. I'm definitely the entity attack. It's not something visual for me. It's more of thoughts. I'm amazed at how these guys can influence a pattern of thought. And if you're not careful, they will take you down that spiral. I mean, just send you right down that chute. So, I mean, there's almost no leeway at all for anything. We have to be so on to allow this almost sacred space in our hearts and our minds of nothing that will defile is kind of what's coming to my mind. No thought, no emotion that can lead to a hook for these things to take us down the spiral. So that's something that I've been working with current.
Excellent observation with that. It's so true. If you give those entities an inch, they'll take 5,000 miles, and they will lead you down that chute, so to speak. And thank you, Brooke, for adding to this conversation as well. And so I ask you listening right now in the archives, whatever time you're listening and wherever you are listening, what are you doing to help your refinement protocol? Are you resisting it? Are you latching on to the ego and its wants and its desires? And people sometimes have a hard time. Well, what is the ego? What is that thing that Chrism keeps talking about? Well, it is your fear. It is your wants. It is your desires. It is that part of you that first came into emergence after you're around a year and a half, 2 years old. The part of you that helped you survive. The part of you that helped you compete and win in this world. The part of you that really took care of you until you became a fixture of this society, whatever society you're in, and until you became that which is now beginning to grow away from ego control. So here's the scenario. Just the same way that we leave childhood and we come into adolescence through puberty, so is this the puberty that is present with the Kundalini awakening. You have to shed those baby teeth. And part of the refinement process is helping you to shed those baby teeth so that you can embrace the greater reality of what you are as a divine reflection upon this world. Kundalini activated and awakened divine reflection. This is where our world is going. And with the internet, more and more and more and more people are having actual awakenings. Now, a lot of people are having, kind of plastic awakenings, it's like, some sort of a, they look at, they go to India or whatever, and they stand there with 5,000 other people, and somebody waves their arm, and boom, you're awakened. And I'm fine. I'm good with that, as long as it's real, and as long as it's truthful, as long as it's honest, and as long as it's just not a money grab, for some society. So, Kundalini is coming into ascendancy on this world right now because of the elevated levels of communication. As Santara said, I'll be speaking at the at that conference in London, and London is this great meeting place for the world to come together, and I invite you all to come there. Kundalini is coming up. I want you to really begin to respect your divine Kundalini refinement program. It is not something that you can do at 7:32 p.m. It's something that you must practice all the time. For those of you that are coming to Peru, no worries. The Peru thing is really, it's hot and heavy. I'm about ready to get my tickets. We're heading on down, and more information about that will be forthcoming on that group. But this refinement protocol now, switching gears back to that, really respect it. Really give yourself into this. Do not allow yourself to slip and fade. It's fairly common to have that occur because, you're coming up against levels of complacency. You're coming up against levels of self-aggrandizement, recognition of yourself as the great and powerful Oz. You're coming up against a lot of these things, and you really want to begin to be aware of how you are all the time. What level of self-talk you're having with yourself all the time. Now, look, you're gonna take breaks from this. You'll slip with this. Don't worry so much. Begin to forgive yourself and self-correct yourself, as Santara was mentioning. You self-correct the behaviors that you want to change. I'll say it again. You self-correct the behaviors that you want to change. And I encourage all of you to do that. Okay, now I am going to slowly switch gears because I see Lauren White is typing, and he may have something to say that is apropos of what we're just talking about. And I'm going to bring Her Holiness, the Queen of Celtic Ireland there. Hi, Santara.
Hi.
All right. Have you collected any questions from the groups? Lauren White says, he says the Oneness University talks about their people being partial awakening. I think that's because Lauren, for the first part of their deal, they were saying full awakening, and then as people walked away without, now they're going to partial awakening, and I'll definitely go with very, very, very partial awakening. I mean, they're awakened because they spent their money, going there doing that. But thank you, Lauren White. Thank you for that. And Santara, please continue.
Okay, so somebody is wondering if I would ask this question for them.
Okay.
I've been aware of my OBE since a child, out-of-body experience since a child, feeling my body float up. Then in my 30s, I was practicing yoga and experiencing out-of-body experiences, but never left the ceiling of my home. Then I started randomly popping out at times I didn't expect, such as when I was vacuuming or cooking, etc. I would go up through the roof into the sky and I could see my neighborhood and the surrounding areas. Can you explain, please, why I would randomly pop out at unexpected times, such as when I was cooking or hoovering? Thank you.
Well, first of all, I think this person is being given, they are being taught about what the possibilities are right now, how this can be expanded, how you don't have to be asleep. I prefer to astral project in the daytime myself. I find it to be very, very, very beautiful, very easy, very liberating, just an amazingly wonderful experience. I think she's being taught by her energy that this can be done, and I think she's also in she's in that state pre-activation where she's being guided towards higher spiritual states. And the one thing that I'll suggest that she do is she ask the cosmos when she's outside. Next time she's floating above her house, you say, please teach me my Kunalini, if that is what she wants to know. If she doesn't want to know about Kunalini, that's fine. But you got that off the Kunalini Awakened group, right, Amelia?
No, it was sent privately. One of the questions that came in.
And yet
my inbox.
It was from the Kundalini group that you placed that, right?
Somebody who is part of the Kundalini group wrote it into my inbox.
Exactly.
It's not.
So they're already kind of coming from a Kundalini perspective. Okay, so asking for the Kundalini for clarity about their process would be something that would be readily answered in the astral by the Kunalini. So that's one thing that I would suggest that they do. Another thing that I suggest they do is to ground themselves. Get barefoot on bare soil, eat some good lean meat, whatever kind that they enjoy. Have a very strong exercise routine. Have a very strong work ethic. Really stay grounded if she is having or he is having a problem with the out of body stuff during the daytime or during vacuuming or cooking. To have that. Sorry, I had to slip that in there.
Sorry, I know. Can I make a point though? I'd like to ask a question. And it's a she. I noticed, like, the two examples she gave was cooking and vacuuming, things that are repetitive and are sort of service and are, I just thought it was interesting because I've had experiences myself during doing things of that nature, like not driving the car or not, doing something, but doing something like cooking something and vacuuming and cleaning, So,
well, that's why
I don't know if that's relevant or not.
We try to stay grounded too, and so it would benefit her so she doesn't just start popping out while she's driving, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't pop out at a moment that could make her permanently out, shall we say? So grounding is very, very important. Eating meat will ground you. Walking barefoot on bare soil will ground you. Leaning up against a tree and allowing that tree to help ground you will ground you. Having sex will ground you. Having hard exercise workouts will ground you. These types of things can help and really, really help you not pop out at times that would, say, endanger your physical well-being. And let's see here. Yeah. Did I not address what you just said, Amelia? I just kind of
Yes.
into it. Did I or did I not?
Yes, no, you did. You did.
Oh.
And now she wanted to know why she pops out. I think you addressed that. And you've given her, I think, you're finished. I think is what you're saying.
Okay, yes, over.
Okay. Sometimes I'm not sure if you're opposed to continue. Okay, so over. So thank you, Chrism. Next question, and this is from the group directly. I've just taken it off the group. I have noticed a change in my senses. The 5 normal senses have become stronger, but I'm still wondering about the lack of feeling towards sex of any kind. My theory is that Kundalini is using the energy from the crown chakra. In doing so, is depleting the testosterone.
Let's see. Let's see what I wrote.
Excuse my pronunciation.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah,
right
you
there.
did it best.
I think I have to go here, and then so I'm totally out of there. Okay. All right. So, what I told them with regards to that was that the Kundalini it will take the libido and the energy that would cause the libido, which, by the way, is always Kundalini. Always. Okay. Even if you take that little purple pill, all right, it will take the energy that causes libido to occur and use it in other ways. Use it for cranial plate migration, or use it to expand the heart, or use it to expand the 5th chakra, the ears, nose, and throat areas. Use it to transform the person's spine. Use it and use it in the many different ways that the Kundalini will use that energy of itself to transform the person. You got to remember, that's a creative force. That creative force isn't just to make a baby, it's also to make the new Kundalini body as well. And so, it's important for a person to understand that it's not all about them having the availability to masturbate or have sex whenever they want. With Kundalini, it's about creation. And Phil Karuba is asking along this line, is chastity important in a Kundalini context? And so basically, chastity, I mean, maybe a different word could be used for that, Phil. Maybe not having sex at all. And if that's what you mean by chastity, then so be it. The Kundalini will basically take away that ability for you. If you're a man, you won't be able to get an erection to save your life. Okay? Nothing is wrong with you. As a matter of fact, far more is right with you than wrong with you, but it's the Kundalini that is taking that energy and using it for its own purposes. And so no longer are you able to use that in a shall we say, a self-aggrandizing way. Or, even if you're, trying to make a child, no longer will you be able to do that. Not for the moment anyway. Typically, it's not permanent. It's not a permanent condition. It's a very temporary condition. But it's long enough for people to notice it and to be, shall we say, take umbrage against that occurring to them. So, over, since we're getting short on time here.
Okay. There's a short question came into my... Why is there a practice of the eyes up? Is it to do with the third eye?
No, actually, interestingly enough, it has far more to do with the 2nd chakra than it does with the third eye. Eyes up, 2nd chakra and 6th chakra have a very, very unique bond with each other. When you do the eyes up position within a Kundalini context, you're actually pulling the energy up from the 2nd, further up the spine. And so it's very important for people that are in the activation stage or coming into an activation stage to position. Once again, not while you're driving or operating heavy equipment or cooking. You just have the eyes up during meditation or maybe when you're relaxing, just take a moment and bring the eyes up, and that will begin to pull the Kundalini. Now, as far as the third eye goes, the third eye itself will begin to open when it's ready to open. All of this third eye, people wanting to awaken their third eye, all they're really saying when they say that is they want the powers of the Kundalini. That's all they're doing. They want to have the third eye open so that they can get an edge on society in some way, or in some way impress themselves or impress other people. And that's just, that's self-aggrandizement to a large degree. And so this is not going to be supported by the Kundalini, and that eye will stay as closed as possible unless the Kundalini wants to teach them a lesson and have that third eye open and let them see what it's like to have an unprepared third eye opening, which is not a very pretty picture. And so, the third eye is really more associated with itself, or the sixth chakra is associated with the second chakra, and helping the Kundalini, helping the consciousness of the person assist Kundalini and get behind Kundalini rather than not coming half the way and agreeing to be with the Kundalini. So it is a way of coming half the way and saying, look, I am with this. I am following your refinement protocols for me. I am ready to go. Let's do this. Let's bring those eyes up. And remember, everybody, if you haven't been practicing eyes up position, it doesn't come so easy. I mean, it did for me, I have to say. It just took me a week or two to do it. And then the Kundalini kind of takes over and pulls those eyes up anyway, for those of you that are in the activation sequence. For those that are coming out of, in the upper frequencies of mundane life, coming into a Kundalini awakening, yes, definitely bring those eyes up, bring them straight up, let them rest, because they will want to fall down into the normal ocular position, and then you just gently bring them up again, and you just kind of like lifting weights. As you get the muscles will begin to support the eye and the eyes up position. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. Will we leave it at that?
Do we have another one?
There are a few more. Why is refining the ego so painful?
Refining the ego is so painful is because the ego doesn't want to be refined. The ego is going to resist every step of the way. And in another way, it really focuses the person's truthful intentions. Are you really here to do this work or not? And if you're really here to do this work, then know what it's like to really, really have to work hard at it, rather than it just be an easy and no-brainer type of thing to do. Let's see how hard you can work before we show you how easy it can be. Over. And yes, my dear, we will leave it there. Please save those questions for next week. I want to thank Atlanta Secret Fastchi 1645 guest Heli Hainonen, Lauren White, Madeva Sadvi, Manisha Mary, Jean, Phil Karuba, Cole Kundalini, and of course Eileen and Rosemary and Santara and Josephine and Joey from Minnesota. And of course, Santara, Her Holiness. I would like to thank John, your husband. I would like to thank you yourself for providing this program. Everybody, this program only exists through the kindness of John and Amelia, and I would like you all to thank them both. And Santara, if you would like a last word.
Thank you, Chrism, and I'll just say good night and see everybody again next week. Goodbye.